Welcome back to the Headbangers podcast, where your hosts, Nathan and Brad. Here today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to do 10 bands that we think are criminally underrated in the metal and hardcore scene, and ones that we think that you should check out. Maybe they've been under your radar, maybe you know them already, but oh well. We want to teach you some things on this because I feel like these bands, mainly be ones that me and Nathan have been listening to, that we feel maybe even deserve a little more publicity because what they're doing bits, they're popping off. So we also want to mention, do you want to take it away, Neff? This Saturday, coming to a venue near you.
What the fuck was that?
I was trying to do like the fucking cinema voice.
I like the coming soon.
Coming soon this summer.
I don't like a really awful joke that I'm not going to say on the podcast then.
Okay, yeah, save that after.
So our great friend Cal, he's doing a gig at Boom. You know, it's one of his first show in the UK, right? So I think you all should come along. It's in the second room at Boom. It's gonna be a fun time.
You might want to mention what city is it in, because Boom means something to us, but it might not mean something to somebody else.
In Leeds. It's in Leeds.
The north of the UK, West Yorkshire.
Not in
700
Manchester.
hours.
Not in Manchester, it's in Leeds. So if you're free Saturday, yeah, get yourself down to Boom and go see some Percy Bones.
Yeah. Also, our friends in God are supporting as well. So it'll be a nice mixture of different musical genres. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Besides the fact that I got a flight the next day, but you know, we'll crack on. We'll get through it. But yeah, no, it should be a very fun show. But yeah, come check him out. Also, check out his channel. I actually did a music video for Carl. Also, if you look,
What do you mean, motherfucker?
Well, I was going to say
we
you
were
did the
both
photography
apart.
as well. Yeah, I was going to say
I was
check the
cutting
social-
half in that video.
Yeah, Nathan did a big sacrifice in that video. He did things to his body that I personally would never even dream of doing. So hats off to Nathan. Balls of steel.
Is
that what you wanted? Is that
yeah.
is that the gratification that you wanted?
It is. You know why? Because I smelled pig guts with my fucking nose for weeks. It was on my skin and a lot, Brad.
Yeah, no context. Nathan had a pig's arsehole on his chest. So if you don't go check it out, you're not a true fan of Headbangers. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So 10 bands that we think are criminally underrated. One band that I'd like to start off with, I've tried to make them slightly a bit different because there is quite a lot that I'd like to cover. But first of all is Flutch. Which we managed to interview. Really sound guy. A lot of songs about evil mushrooms and fungi taking over. But all in all, I've really found like a love for sludge and doom metal this year, I think. As you obviously change and get older, you start to look for different sort of musical genres. And even if it's in the metal category and the metal playground, like it's nice to see bands, you know, adopting different styles. And I don't know, maybe it's the grimness of this year, but I've been enjoying the slimy, sludgy world that these bands create, and Flutch is definitely accustomed to that. You know, the riffs are very slow, but also got some very nice fast beats in there to pick up the pace. And the newest album, The Psychedelic Realms of Hell, it's honestly a vibe. That's the only way I can describe it. It's a very immersive experience. So when you listen to it, it's almost like a trip. You know, you're in these sort of swamps with giant mushrooms, and it's just takes you away. And his vocals, honestly, disgusting as fuck. It's exactly what you expect from a great doom sludge band. But yeah, I'd definitely say check them out if you like doom metal. I'm personally a massive fan. I've listened to the album so many times since it's come out, and it helps as well that the band are very nice. So.
They were very nice when we were speaking to them.
Yeah, and it's also interesting facts about that they use. Well, they want to try and use fungus for rockets. So it obviously it's good for radiation, so it doesn't like.
There's a specific species of mushroom that actually sucks in radiation. I think they grew in Chernobyl. They're like really good resilience, and they actually feed on radiation and stuff. So they actually want to use that as an installation for rockets to actually protect a lot of rockets as well as like the space station and shit. to protect a lot of the astronauts from the radiation up there.
There you go. The more you know. But no, I'd fully recommend checking out Flutch, especially the new album. I've really been drawn to that one. All in all, even the artwork to it is incredible. Like, you see a lot of the same artwork when it comes to metal. You've got like death and destruction and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. But I kind of like the whole like mushroom trip vibe that they've got going on. So yeah, check out Flutch. Nathan, hit us with number 9. What is the band that you think people need to listen to?
For me, before we get started with my with the number 9, I've got something funny to tell you.
Okay, go on.
Okay, so like when you was talking about the like as you get older, your taste change.
Yeah.
Right. So like as I've gotten older, I've started listening to like Eurovision bands, unironically.
You mean like Maneskin?
I like Maneskin, but I'm talking. I've been listening to all sorts. The Eurovision movie that they released. Right, been listening to that soundtrack a lot recently. Ironically, bangers all around.
Well,
but
bangers are bangers no matter what genre you put in.
Exactly. I've taken piss out of you for the longest time for liking K-pop.
Exactly. We've all got our guilty pleasures. I'm not even guilty about it anymore. You can unsubscribe if you want, but I fucking love K-pop and I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I'm coming out as a K-stan, aren't
I? By the way, would you dare to show them what's probably behind your laptop at the moment?
I never thought I'd show this, but it was actually meant as a joke because my mum really hates K-pop. So the funniest thing I thought I could do is to get out. It's not a life-size cutout, at least I hope not, because it's very small. But I was gonna just put it in a room to scare the shit out of her, and it worked. So I'd say that's a win-win.
No, you got that for yourself.
Anyway, so number 9. Speaking of bangers, what is the head bangers number 9?
What, the number 9 banger?
Yeah.
My number 9 banger, Brad, is a band called Drain. Now, if you haven't heard of Drain, you're very unfortunate. I feel like a lot of people that like might actually follow hardcore might be like, these aren't fucking underrated bands. Nathan, what are you on about? Listen, this is like a primarily like metal audience. I'm trying to spread the good, wholesome words of hardcore here. Okay. But yeah, if you haven't listened to Drain, please get yourself down, listen to them because they're fucking unbelievable. Like this, like sort of like they've got a very skater hardcore vibe to them. Very actually wrong terminology. Actually, I'd say more surfer hardcore vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like you can imagine like it were written on a nice sandy beach in California somewhere, right? Do you know what I mean? Like they've got like they are so good and like all the riffs are just really catchy. Like Feel the Pressure, the intro to that. If you can't, after the first couple of times listening to it, if you don't automatically start singing along to it, yeah, then I'm sorry, but you're just not a fucking human. So if you don't like Drain, if you haven't listened to Drain, fucking listen to them.
See, it's quite funny because when you said like you imagine like a hardcore band in California, like more like a surfer hardcore band. Like I wasn't really thinking of just like a nice serene beach. I was thinking of someone just like crowd killing all the fucking sunbathers on the beach. It's going by fucking spin kicking a shark in the face.
No, it's like surfer hardcore. That's how I would describe it, really. I mean, like Keep the Pressure actually has like a Feel the Pressure actually has like the opener is literally like some music playing and then someone dives into some water. Like it just has that vibe. Like I feel like the thing is, I feel like a lot of people will probably like listen to and going, "This isn't hardcore. This is thrash." I feel like a lot of people get confused, but like between hardcore and thrash.
But I feel like that's understandable though, because I mean now there is crossovers. Like you've got bands like Municipal Waste, which are kind of like a crossover between thrash, hardcore, and punk. So I think because the lines are so thinly drawn now, it's easy to mistake certain bands for different genres. But I'd say that's more of a credit to their characters. Because it means that they're not just like fallen into one genre and you can't place them. It's what we talked about before. I think it just makes a band even better.
Well, fun fact about Drain you know how much I love Gulch,
Yeah.
right? The vocalist for Drain is also the drummer for Gulch.
Oh, there you go.
A bit of crossover there for you. It's pretty. I mean, like pretty cool. Universal guy, and like it's really funny because like obviously they've got a different drummer in this band to him because he's the front man, but you can definitely hear like he definitely must have a bit into the writing of the drums because the actual drumming style for the most part sometimes in Drain you can actually hear that kind of gulchness kind of come in. So you can like almost tell which parts were like either written by him or influenced like
It's quite
by
cool
him.
that. You know, and like band members leave their imprint on even the new projects. Like it shows that you're a good musician if you've got your own style, and even if in a new project you're able to carry that forward. So no, I respect that. My number 8 is going to be Devil Electric. So this is like an Australian band. They're a kind of a different turn, to be honest. As much as I said, like, you know, doom metal and sludge has been like one of my discoveries this year that I've fallen in love with, but also like stoner rock has sort of been a thing for me, and I don't know why.
You know what? It's mad that you like stoner rock, but you don't smoke weed
anymore. I've had my fucking stoner days, man. Like I smoked weed before any of you guys even dabbled. So don't talk to me about
no, but it actually upsets me that like you won't get high with us.
I don't know. I like it few and far between. Like I'll smoke again, but got to be in the right vibe.
We're going to the cabin in January. Think about it. If there was a better place,
maybe, but I'm thinking more like whiskey and fucking cigars for that. That seems like I may have stolen that from Two Bears One Cave. No, not Two Bears One Cave. What's his show called on Netflix?
The Cabin.
The Cabin. That's it. Can't believe it's such an easy fucking name to remember. I just completely threw a ball that one.
The Cabin.
Yeah.
The Cabin.
The Cabin. But, the Cabin. Yeah. That counts as The Cabin.
I know we're getting sidetracked, but seriously, for this cabin, like I think they did say no party, so you know what's the opposite of a party? A smoke, where you all just chill out.
It's about a smoke out, so yeah, we'll consider that. But yeah, I imagine Devil Electric and weed must be a good combination. But yeah, they're kind of cool. I like a lot of the stoner rock band. Like this distorted guitars is definitely very appealing to me. They've got their own sound. But one thing that I love about Devil Electric is that I really like the Southern Gothic style. It's a really cool genre. Definitely a vibe. It kind of reminds you of being like in New Orleans somewhere. But I feel like Devil Electric really encapsulated that very well. You know, the vocalist is amazing. She really carries the band forward. But, you know, there's something about Devil Electric that it puts you into like a bit of a trance. Like the riffs are very entrancing, like I said. Overall, they still know how to make bangers as well. Like you never feel at any point that it's just noise. They are generally just making songs, and I would love to see them, to be honest. I did try and get them on the podcast, they didn't respond. So if you're ever watching this, then please come on.
Yeah,
but yeah,
come on.
They're very good. Southern Gothic and stoner rock together is a great combination. And I think if you like any of those two genres, I don't think that you'll be disappointed with these. So yeah, check them out. Devil Electric, sick. Hit us off, man.
I guess it's me next now. So my next one is Tsunami. You haven't heard of Tsunami, and it's not spelled the way you actually would normally spell tsunami. It's spelled Sunami, right? Scott, he ain't got the T. Yeah, right. But if you haven't heard of Tsunami, that. Yeah, he hasn't got the T. You know, I actually used to spell tsunami like that for years until I googled like footage of a tsunami.
How old were you when you figured out that you needed the T?
22.
What are you gonna say? Like 13? Jesus, I mean,
when the fuck do you ever spell tsunami?
I don't know. In school, like there must be at some point when you learned about natural disasters or something.
No, I'd zone out in geography. They're talking about rocks and fucking tectonic plates and shit. That doesn't apply to me fucking life. What? Hey, by the way, why the fuck do the teachers that in high school? I don't know how to fucking apply for a fucking bank loan.
I mean,
but I don't know about tectonic fucking plates.
You're not wrong. But I mean, all of it's pretty useful knowledge. But I mean, yeah, I suppose learning how to finance yourself is quite a much more pressing issue. But carry on. What's good about Tsunami?
You've actually got me riled up about the British school system now. I feel like having a 40-minute rant about it.
Yeah, that could be another podcast altogether.
Anyway, so yeah, if you don't know about Tsunami, you need to check him out because honestly, Tsunami is so brutal. Like, I'm not like brutal in the sense of like slam and stuff like that. I mean like brutal in like a hardcore sense. Like they're literally like I watched like a reaction to one of their songs, and the guy used the word. Used the sentence. This is a fighting band, and it is. You hear him, and it makes you want to knock the fuck out of someone. It's like a proper like hype you up song, hype you up sort of band. They're as well like they're just like they've always said that they envision Tsunami as like just like this almost jokey band that's like just obnoxious and like all these like blown out personas in it.
Yeah.
But even if you look at their Instagram, like it's very prevalent, like it's just literally full of memes and stuff like that. Like they're self-aware, their merch game as well. Fuck me, their merch game is unreal. But as well with Tsunami, like there's actually got really good musicianship. Like even though they've said, they're just like a jokey band, they don't really take themselves too seriously. Their musicianship's top tier. Like a lot of these riffs and stuff like that. They've done a split EP with Gulch as well. That's like fucking really good. So honestly, if you haven't heard of Tsunami, you need to get on that right now. There's like a really funny sample they used where he's like, "Oh, you fucking pussies talking shit on the internet. Well, wait until I come out of the van with this in my head and fucking bash your fucking head in." And it's like a 12-year-old like saying it. It's like probably like like those old gems of YouTube.
Yeah. Those like really low quality videos,
Yeah, like that sort of thing. So I genuinely that they use that sample, and it's a pretty funny like sort of start to the song. So
I check these out. I like a band that self-aware and don't take themselves seriously. It's always a fun thing. So mine at number 6 is going to be Vanaheim. So I checked these out at HRX Vikings. If you watched one of the previous episodes, I did talk a lot of slack about HRX Vikings with their organization skills. But what they
no, you're a phone hypocrite. You're a phone hypocrite. You was chatting shit, and I messaged you. How's HRX Vikings, mate? I'm loving it. You're fucking hypocrite.
It doesn't take away the fact that they weren't organized. I still don't take that back. I mean, they were, like, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, they still knew how to put on a good show. Like with what they had. I mean, Vanaheim's also a band from Scandinavia. So the fact that they actually managed to get them over is pretty impressive. Vanaheim, though, like, we were watching bands for most of the day, and we were impressed by a lot of them. Like, they were all pretty good. But Vanaheim really, really stole the stage, and they even played twice as well, 2 sets, because I think one of the bands dropped out on the second stage later on. So they did 2 sets, which is impressive as well, because, if I did a set for about, an hour and a bit, I don't think I'd want to do another one. But anyway, that's just me. So yeah, they were fucking sick. They're like a folk metal band with like death metal flavoring in there as well. But I think the thing that I really loved about Vanaheim is his vocal techniques, because not only could he do very impressive lows, but also he could do some Mongolian throat singing, which I haven't seen in many bands. But like that just put like shivers down my spine, because I was just like, fucking hell, like you must be a very talented vocalist to be able to do death metal and do that, and also do like Nordic chanting as well. So overall, it definitely gave a bit of depth to it, but as well as that, just the stage presence of Vanaheim, they really kept the crowd going, very energetic, a bit of dry humor in there. So I think it's all the important elements of a band. The riffs were amazing. They even brought like a violinist on stage at one point. which just added another layer to it. So yeah, Vanaheim, they've got a new album coming out soon, so be sure to check that out. But if you like anything folk metal, or even if you like death metal, and you're wanting to kind of break into the folk genre, I'd say this is a good one to start with because it's not too folky and it's not too death metal. It's like the perfect balance, like a homey, like a Harvest 50-50. There's a bit of both. So
yeah, Harvest out of all the things that you could compare it to, you went, that bread that's only sold in England.
I mean, listen, I was freestyling that one. I was just on a train. It was the first thing that came to my mind was just Toby's 50-50. So, it's also a bit of a fact for you to check out some of our local bread. It's not very good.
Yeah, because it turns out most of our listeners are actually from the United States.
Exactly. So,
get
research.
If you're from the States, if you say it's like Wonder Bread 50-50, I don't know if they've got that over in the States, but yeah, it's like Wonder Bread, mate.
If you're a folk fan and you're a fan of bread,
if it was like white bread and brown bread,
that's the one. So, kick us off with the fifth band.
I've got a feeling that a lot of people are going to go, these guys are overrated. Oh, everyone knows these guys are sick. Again, I feel like they're not really talked about a lot in like the metal
you said
community.
there, like if like a lot of people that listen to this are mostly metalheads, it'd be nice to kind of show them some hardcore bands as well. So I'd say like either way, if you're a hardcore fan or you're a metal fan, you might be able to find something today that you didn't think about listening to before.
Yeah, look, listen to Jesus Piece, man. Jesus Piece. I know you've listened to Jesus Piece, which by the way, we've literally just bought tickets to see him at Boom. So
yeah. Thank you, Nev.
You're welcome. Merry fucking Christmas. So if you haven't heard of Jesus Piece, they're like, I'd describe them as a very like almost metallic hardcore.
Yeah.
But they've also got it's hard to pinpoint what their sound is like. Do you know what I mean? Like when people go, oh, listen to this band, they kind of sound like, I can't really go, they kind of sound like with Jesus Piece. They very much have their own sound. Every single track they make is just a banger. The vocals in it has just got this just such a raw aggression. And everything with it is just so amazing. Like also fun fact, the drummer from Jesus Piece is also a DJ and a model. I thought you were gonna say as a member of Gulch. I was like, is every band that you're gonna say got some connection with Gulch? No. I think he's a model because I've seen quite a bit of modeling on his social media. But I think he does also DJ because like I've seen him put posters up of like DJ sets and stuff like that. He made like a pretty funny video of him like making some techno and him and his girlfriend dancing to it in his apartment. Oh, yeah. So yeah, multi-talented, but yeah, everyone in this band is so fucking talented. There's like straight up what feels like death metal riffs, but then also it just kind of it's just got such a good groove to it. And honest, I can't wait to fucking see him. Like genuinely, Brad. Yeah, they've got that cool sound, and you got a cool sound with hardcore at the moment. Like, because I'd say that the state of hardcore right now, even though there's bands that like to do the classic style, is the sort of infusion now with metal. So like the really really fucking heavy hardcore bands, so incorporating death metal vocals but with some hardcore musicianship. So I think it's cool. I think it's probably out of all the hardcore styles, it's probably the one that I can sort of resonate with the most. I think it's good. I think Jesus Piece would be a great band for people that, as like a gateway. Yeah, a gateway band for sure. Well, I think another really good gateway band for people, if I could recommend that as well, like is probably Harm's Way. I think they were the first like hardcore band I listened to, and then I went into Jesus Piece, and then that's when I started getting into more into hardcore. Because both of them have like strong sort of metal influences as well. But no, I think hardcore at the moment is like top of the range of a genre at the moment. Like I feel like I've had over the last years I've had burnout on metal and stuff like that. But like hardcore, just like I don't know, it appeals to me a lot more now because it's kind of got. It's in this really, really cool sweet spot where it's not fully reliant on it being punk as well.
Yeah.
Like it's got that sort of like fuck you punk mentality to it, and that comes through in the writing. But like now it's kind of its own thing, and that's what I like. Like it's kind of in its own little box, and like the level of like sort of creativity and uniqueness that each band is kind of coming with in hardcore at the moment is something pretty special.
Yeah.
And it's pretty hard to actually like if you really didn't like know much about hardcore and you're kind of in a pit about with metal, I'd recommend really looking into these bands because Jesus PCs are one of the biggest bands in the hardcore scene at the moment. And to say that they're pretty small compared to like, you know, your biggest metal bands at the moment, but like genuinely, I think you'd listen to it going, oh shit, yeah, I can see what he means here, and it's actually a pretty big eye opener, and you're like, oh, I want to listen to more of this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I completely agree. I think they would be a great gateway band. You know, they've definitely got the heaviest elements of metal incorporated into it. So I don't think it'd be too alien for someone to listen to them and you know, break into the genre as opposed to listen to something like Madball maybe. So
the only thing though is sometimes it can be a bit scary with hardcore reaching a bigger audience now. Because if you go to like local show, like a lot of like Outbreak, we were talking about Outbreak before we came on. Outbreak, I've never really seen it sell out a lot. Like it's always been like kind of like a close, like small sort of like knit community thing. But a lot of the bands recently have blown up and like have been like kind of adapted with the metal scene. So now you're getting a lot more people coming into it, which is great. But then it also means that people have kind of like really always gone to these shows and been like, shit, I can't go.
yeah,
So
definitely. I think it's getting a lot more popular now, which is nice. So yeah, that's been our part one of the top 10 bands that we think that you should discover. Very underground, but very amazing all the same. Join us for part two next week. We'll talk about some more in the hardcore and the metal scene. And we'll look forward to seeing it then. Just to remind you, we are on Patreon, so please check us out. You know, we're still waiting for our first subscriber on there. And also, you know, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this. And like I said, part two will be coming out next week. So
yeah.
Stay tuned.
I've come up with a very good marketing strategy for the Patreon, Brad.
Go on.
Right. So anyone that's listening out there, right, this is going to backfire if we get quite a few people subscribed at some point. If you subscribe to the Patreon, right? If you subscribe to the Patreon, yeah, and you see us at a show, or you hit like actually there's some audio listeners that have literally never seen us. Yeah. Probably. So like
this might
if you happen to recognize our voice.
Yeah, just like our voice in a fucking venue, which is going to be loud as fuck anyway, and you can't hear anything, but go on.
But if you manage to recognize us and you see us at a show, and if you are subscribed to Patreon, if you show me you're subscribed to Patreon, Brad will buy you a pint.
Why the fuck? No. We'll split a fucking pint, unless we get like a half pint each.
Yeah, we'll buy you a pint, right?
Yeah. We're that desperate right now. That's what it's come to.
Yeah, we'll buy you a pint. God's honest truth, you've got this fucking podcast episode to prove it. Yeah, right, we'll buy you a pint.
This is your invoice, so come and claim your award. But yeah, we'll see you in part two.
See you in part two.